Okay. Hey guys, welcome to another live show of the fan stands. It's the usual pace and the usual two people on the show. It's me, Mohsin, with Ahmed from Australia, but this time we have a special guest with us, Mr. Joey, who is a Liverpool fan, as you can see, from Singapore. So, Joey, thank you so much for taking out time. How are you, brother?
I'm good. I would like to thank you guys for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Okay, okay. Ahmed, how are you, mate? How's everything in Australia?
I'm I'm fine. How are you? Welcome to all the football fans across Pakistan and Australia, and especially Singapore as well, as we have a
Hey,
special guest with us.
thank you,
Okay.
thank you.
So, Joey, before we talk about your beloved Liverpool, you're a football fan, and I've seen you are friends with me on Facebook as well. So I've seen you talk
Yep.
about a lot of different football topics apart from Liverpool as well. So there's one thing I would like to start with you since you're a guest, and it's a Pakistani culture of giving guests uh, taste of the action first. So
hmm
Mikel Arteta, I mean, he's the guy for Wembley and Aubameyang. They're in form. So as a Liverpool fan, it must be sad for you to see Liverpool not winning that Community Shield. I know these things happen, but the last two seasons have been so good for Liverpool. You would have expected by looking at the Arsenal lineup that this should be a game for Liverpool to win. But we want your analysis on the game. How do you see that match, and the- what what is your view on take on the result?
All right. To be honest, I wasn't too worried about the result. In fact, I put it out to all my friends. I let them know that even so long as Liverpool do not lose the game badly, I am absolutely fine. They draw the game, lose on penalty shootout, I'm fine with that. At the end of the day, it is just the first game of the season. The community shield, no, regardless of how people, I know sometimes people like to say that it's like a major trophy or something, but not a lot of weight should be put on the result. But most importantly is that Liverpool do not lose badly. If you guys remember last season, Liverpool did lose the Community Shield, but I guess the season turned out just fine.
It is. And Ahmed, what about you? You were quite surprised watching Arsenal win, even though it went to penalties, like Joey said. Minamino scored his first goal for Liverpool, but you're still surprised that Arteta is slowly and gradually turning things around for Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised because how well he's performing with this Arsenal team. As everyone expected from that lineup, it didn't have Lacazette, it didn't have Nicolas Pepe, and also the usual defensive midfielder, the defensive trio wasn't there. Also, I think we saw Al Neni coming in after I think his loan spell. So it was quite a different change team from Arsenal, but it was a quite I think regular lineup for Liverpool. So yeah, people are expecting a Liverpool win from it. But I guess I think Liverpool carried that rustiness, I think, after that title win. Yeah, I think in the preseason also you have seen that they were a bit defensively they're a bit rusty. Also, I think they were giving chance to Nico Williams as well. He had a fair game, not too bad, not too good. Also, I think the front three wasn't, I think, not up to the standard of their high scoring legs. But yeah, I think overall, it was a good game. I think Al Neni really played well after coming from his loan. He really controlled the tempo, and Aubameyang, as usual, is their best player. And think he was really involved in this match, and he gave them the lifeline of winning this shield. And also, I think Martinez also kept them in the game. I think when it comes to the penalty, I think you can't guess who will gonna win because both team have the chances to win this match. So yeah, I think the inexperience of Ryan Brewster cost him, but I think it's much more majorly boost for Mikel Arteta as he won two cups in the same season, and I think it will give the boost to Arsenal fans that there's a much more coming for them through Mikel Arteta.
Okay, Joey, we'll come to Liverpool in a while. What has Arteta done differently from the managers before him. It was Emery, but
Mhm.
how has he changed things at Arsenal? And do you think this is just a temporary boost in Arsenal performances, or do you see him as the right man for to take this club forward?
I'll be honest, when when the job became available, there were a lot of names linked with Arsenal, but I did say I did actually thought that Arteta might actually get the job. And to be frank, I'm not too surprised that he got the job because there's a little trend about hiring your ex-player, preferably a decent ex-player, and Arsenal did exactly that. Arteta, we know what type of player he is. He's the more attacking type of player, and he prefers that type of style. And Arsenal are, well, they like it that way, right? Under Wenger, they're not so pragmatic, but perhaps that Arteta has brought back that type of football to them. And if if you ask me if it's going to be a short, is it just a short burst? Probably not, considering that he is taking the same group of players and is moving them forward. So let's hope that he can make Arsenal a force again.
Okay. And how do you see Alexander Arnold missing from the starting lineup? Yes, Nico Williams is young, and some fans were not happy, but these things happen. As you rightly mentioned out, Ahmed said that it's a learning curve for players like Brewsters and Williams, and a confidence booster for Minamino. But do you think that there's a criticism coming from rival United fans that people say that Oli without his starting 11 isn't good enough, but some when you're doing so well, obviously there are people who love to criticize. They say that Klopp doesn't have a plan B on the bench. As a Liverpool fan, what is your reply to that?
Uh, whew, I'm not too worried about so-called Plan B. Did Fergie had a Plan B, or Fergie's Plan B was just to throw 11 players into the penalty box, right? But what's the idea of Plan B? So you want a strong bench. It's actually unrealistic. You're paying millions of pounds for players, and then paying them hundreds of thousands of pounds just to sit on the bench. I don't think that's being financially feasible. So you need hungry players on the bench. Is Nico Williams good enough? Hey, we'll never know, right? He's still young, and he's only got like a couple of few games under the belt. Was he that bad in the Community Shield? I don't think so. It was a draw, right? And I don't think he was really to blame for the goal. Minamino, he had a good game, really. That's a very well taken goal, and it's exactly what what a lot of us had hoped to see more of. So, do we need a lot of good players on the bench? No. Do we have hungry players on the bench? You probably bet that's what Liverpool has.
Okay, well summed up. Ahmed, the game changed when we saw Keita and Minamino coming on. So, how, what happened there? I mean, why did Liverpool improve in the second half compared to the first one?
I think, I think most probably you can see that the attacking threat for the Liverpool will most probably comes from Robertson and I think Trent Alexander-Arnold. So most probably you have seen that Nico Williams was more on the defensive side of the duty, and he wasn't delivering the crosses we expect from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Also, I think the midfield of I think Milner as well. Milner was just playing possession football. He wasn't contributing an assist. And I think also the front three, as I told you, were a bit rusty in that. Firmino had a chance. Also Salah, I think, had a chance. But I think Sadio Mane was a bit lackluster in this match. So yeah, I think after Keita and Minamino came, I think Minamino gave a forward run, and also Keita has a habit of playing forward and also assisting and keep playing one two with the defenders and everything, and also have a good passing range. So yeah, after that, I think a couple of good substitution. I think Klopp understood that he can't rely on his usual plan of providing assists from the left back. He can't play from the full backs right now, so he need a burst of change. So yeah, I think this match also shows that I think Klopp needs a much more good players in the midfield. Like they have been linked with Thiago. So I think it's time they need to utilize someone in a midfield that can provide them that forward passes, then that can keep hold the possession, and then keep hold the possession, and also give them something creativity from the midfield. The Liverpool midfield, I think, is a good when they do their usual job of pressing and keeping hold of the ball. But as you can see the assist chart, I think one of them haven't given assist in last 2 years, and also like Fabinho also. Fabinho is almost on the defensive side of the duty, and he has a couple of long shot goals, and also like Henderson also have a couple of long shot goals. But I think assist wise, I think that midfield is lacking, and also that's why I think Naby Keita and I think Thiago is the key for them to having a good season this season.
Okay, okay. So, Joey, one important figure we mentioned who's been absent for a while, Jordan Henderson. As a Liverpool fan, he joined in, I believe, 2011. A lot of criticism that he's only a side passer, he only runs. What do you have to say? I mean, it's proven he's such an instrumental figure. Whenever he's not playing, Liverpool don't seem at their usual best.
Yeah, so I can see where some people come with the criticism of Jordan Henderson. When he first came, I'll be honest, I'm one of them, right? In fact, when Brendan Rodgers came in and the idea was to trade him for Clint Dempsey, I thought it was probably a good idea as well, but the thing fell through. And what Jordan Henderson did after that really made me became a big fan of him. The manager kind of like told him at the start, he said, I don't really need you. But after that, he just fought his way back again, got back into the plans of Brendan Rodgers. And then in 2013 and 2014, we saw the best of Henderson. And after that, I was like, good, this is the guy that we need. He's sending off against Manchester City, probably was really the main reason why Liverpool failed to win the league title back then, because he will go on to miss the Chelsea game and the Palace game. After that, I don't know, maybe because he got associated with the Brendan Rodgers rhyme, so people started to think that he's not a Klopp player. But the truth of the matter is, he is the man, he is the player that's making this current Liverpool team move along. People, you talk about not having Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, but Jordan Henderson wasn't in the game as well. So in the few games that he hasn't been playing, Liverpool has been poor. I wouldn't say piss poor, I would just say poor. So I hope he comes back soon. If there's a player that can replace him, I don't know. I can't really see that at the moment. And until we see them play more. But yeah, Jordan Henderson is the main man, and I hope the captain comes back soon.
Okay. Well, I'll just tell you a piece of information, Joey. When Henderson joined Liverpool, so our friend Ahmed, he's in Australia right now. He was in Pakistan with me then. He said that Liverpool has signed the new English Kaka. So Ahmed, he doesn't look like the English Kaka still, but he's a different sort of player from what you predicted. But jokes apart, Ahmed, before we move on to full about Liverpool, we don't want to bore Joey by talking about any other club apart from Liverpool. But Ahmed, I'd like to finish this topic about Arsenal. What do you have to say about the young players coming in? I mean, Willock was good, and Maitland-Niles was also very good in that game. And Saka, I mean, this was a player who I think Liverpool really wanted, but did not come. So your take on these few players, and what about Emiliano Martinez? I think Bernd Leno might be on the bench for a while. I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper.
I think the main good thing about Arteta coming in, he knows how to utilize good players like this young team. Ainsley Maitland-Niles is such a good player. He's such a utility player. Like he can play on both sides of the field, and he also can play in the middle of the park. So he's such a utility player. I think Wolves were trying to get him, but I think Arsenal rejected their bid of I think around 25 million. I think he's such an important player for him. Also, I think Saka, like he was playing as a left winger, right winger, and usually he plays as a left back for when Arteta was utilizing him in the earlier matches. So this is the amazing talent which Arsenal have in their disposal. These two of the main players, if they can get hold of them, I think they can become an exceptional talent. Also, I think Gabriel also have came, and also William Saliba also came. So I think their defensive center back defensive issue has been resolved. I think both of them really had a good season. I think Saliba had a good season in Shane 18, and also I think Gabriel was a really good player in Lille. So yeah, I think defensively they also got also Taron Kearney, who's most probably deployed as a left back, but also he plays left center back, and he also performed really well. So yeah, I think Arteta knows how to utilize this team. I know how to get the good for how to get the good formation or how to utilize this player. So yeah, I think Arsenal under Arteta will be a force to reckon. I think some people might think they might come in. I think around fourth and fifth if they have a couple of good matches.
Wow, great prediction. Joey, one last thing about Mesut Ozil. Now, this is a very big name player. He was a superstar in 2010 World Cup, but you talk about hungers and players having the willingness and hunger to play. What is his case? I mean, I don't understand. Does he want to play, or why is the club paying him so much, thousands of pounds every week just to sit out there when Arsenal have, I think, laid off 20-30 of their non-playing staff?
Yeah, so I don't know what has happened to him. Yeah, remember there was one. I think there was one point in time where he was like kind of the top assist all over Europe or something. So his form has literally fallen off a cliff. I don't know. Is it because the amount of money has come in and he's simply lost a desire? I hope not. I think he's a nice fella. I believe he's contributed decently to charity as well. So I really don't know if Arteta can't get anything out of him. I don't think anybody can. If you see that, should he stay on? I think he should move on, unless Arteta can really get him to get his mind back on the pitch again.
Okay. So moving on from Arsenal, congratulations to them again. But we'd like to talk about Joey again. Coming to you, criticism again. I'm sorry, we don't want to be negative, but that is where the fun lies. I'm going to talk about what Liverpool fans are saying. I mean, Everton is spending. Even in this pandemic, they've been spending for quite a while, and signing doesn't always mean that you're going to win the league or anything. We've seen this so many times. Liverpool did not spend too much anything last season. I mean, they acquired Minamino in January for only 7 million. But is it still frustrating that 2 very good seasons now? Klopp needs some sort of backing because the Premier League it's very different from La Liga, from Germany, or any other league.
Well, like what I mentioned earlier, you can't possibly have a batch of you can't possibly spend 50 million pounds on a player that give him 150,000 pounds a week just to sit on a bench, right? Nobody's going to take that up. Right. So that's the main thing. Klopp doesn't really change his first 11. You can anybody can literally name off the first 11 of Liverpool anytime. So it's going to be difficult to get players to want to come in, right? But then again, Liverpool did not, like you mentioned, Liverpool barely bought anybody. They bought a substitute goalkeeper who, well, he did a great job, Adrian. Fantastic job. I love it. Then there was Harvey Elliott and then Minamino, and 30 years of hurt is ended just like that, without spending 100 million pounds over the summer and over the winter transfer window. So it's all about buying what you need and not just buying because somebody thought it's a good idea to buy, right? But then again, should Liverpool go out and get 28-year-old, 30-year-old, just to, I don't know, keep options? I think not. If you're going to spend that money, why not get a 21-year-old or 22-year-old? Someone that the club can then build a team around on for the next 10 years. But frankly, I think by 2022, more than half the Liverpool first team will be over 30 years old. So maybe it's a good time to consider refreshing now if the option is, of course, available. If not, then no problem. This team is still at its peak. They can probably do it one more season, if not two.
Okay. Okay. Well, Joy, I'd just like to make it clear that Ahmed is a very neutral guy, especially for Premier League. He's an Inter Milan fan. So,
Oh,
Ahmed,
Yes.
you're a big fan of Thiago, and you believe after, especially you've been following Thiago for a very long time. It's not like you're not one of those people, Ahmed, I know, who just saw Thiago right now in the Champions League, but you still feel, despite his age, Liverpool should pay 25, 30, and get Thiago. Would he make the difference? Because we've talked about this offline a lot of times. So Ahmed, we want your feedback, and Joey, I want you to feel open to disagree to that, because I think you feel they should rather go for younger players. So Ahmed, why Thiago? Why do you think Thiago is the key for the Liverpool midfield problem, especially the creativity side?
Thiago, I think Thiago, yeah, as you can see, not only from the I think Champions League final, I think in also in the Bundesliga, I think he have been consistent with his performances. Also, he's a player who likes to keep possession and also like to. He's a kind of a utility player you need sometimes who can play also defensive duty and also can play an offensive duty of providing you forward passes and forward run. As you can see in the Champions League final as well, he controlled the midfield of the Bayern, and he was like playing really well, and he was controlling Paredes, I think Marquinhos and everything. They wouldn't able to get ball from him. I think the problem with Liverpool acquiring Thiago is that he has a 6 month contract left with him, and he can go, I think, free after 6 months. But the problem is that I think Liverpool midfield need a change right now, because the midfield of the Klopp Liverpool is that they usually their main task is to press and give the forward passes or forward ball to the attackers. I think this is something we have. The pressing part is the regular thing, but the forward passes you can't see them for as you can see, you can't get them forever. This is where the fullbacks come. There's where Andrew Robertson provide you with the long balls, and Trent Alexander provide you with the long balls. But sometimes when you are playing against a stronger opposition, your fullbacks are there for the defensive duty. So all your reliance depend on your midfielder. This is where Thiago comes in. Thiago will provide you with that possession, that he provides you with the forward passing, and he has a really good tackles in him, interception in him, passes him. He can really can link up with Salah, Mane, and Firmino, and can give them a really good chance of scoring goals. So yeah, I think with like Milner is 34. So yeah, I think like I said in my previous for 5-10 minutes ago, like with Naby Keita and Thiago, I think Liverpool can unlock that midfield they are missing. Like they really need someone who can play in the midfield when their fullbacks are on the defensive duty.
hey, Abed,
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
just like to add. Abed, I'd just like to add. I have no problems with Thiago. I'm sure he's a brilliant player. But
Yeah.
I just want to say that Bayern Munich don't sell good players. If it's a good player, they won't sell them. And if they're selling them, that means he has a problem.
I think the main
Okay. Well.
problem, I think the main play with Thiago, I think you're right with Joey, is that he's quite injury prone. With the only problem is like he gets injured quite well, but I think he missed quite some matches. I think this year and also last year. And I think other than that, I think he's a kind of a midfielder. Even Manchester United is interested right now. After I think they required Van der Beek. they're still interested in signing Thiago. So, like, yeah, he's a kind of a midfield player who can unlock that the missing link in the Liverpool midfield. But yeah, I think he has a bad injury record that many of the teams might not go for him. But I think for around 25 million. I think Ed Woodward's he's a shrewd businessman. He can get him around 20 to 25. I think they can add some bonuses when he can win a Champions League or when can win a league. Next time Liverpool win a league, they can give them 5 to 10 million to the Bayern Munich. So yeah, I think it's a kind of a signing. Liverpool need read because all the teams in the Premier League now knows that all the attacking a threat comes through the fullback. So I think clubs have to change something. Also, I think one more thing that Liverpool need right now, I think, is to get a proper striker. I know Firmino is a great false nine, but I think you can see that he has a goal drought also. Like he haven't scored in Anfield for quite some time. So I think a proper number nine is also needed. I think there were some rumors that Ryan Brewster can be used. I think he had a really good preseason, but I think you can see that Ryan Brewster still lack a bit of experience, so he might go on the loan. And I think they need a proper striker this time.
Okay.
Yeah, all good points there,
Well,
man.
Joey,
Good points.
okay, no, but I like to add one thing. When you started to talk about injury-prone players, Liverpool has two players who I think are very good in that midfield. Ahmed, you mentioned Naby Keita. The other player is Oxford Chamberlain. I mean, the guy was amazing against Atletico Madrid. So, Joey,
Yeah.
don't you think Liverpool has too many injury-prone players in the form of Shaqiri, uh, Ox Chamberlain, and Naby Keita, and bringing in Thiago? I understand where you're coming from, but uh, and not utilizing, I mean, Grujic and Harry Wilson. Klopp wants to sell them. So, who do you think Liverpool should go for? Do you have any name in mind? I know you're happy with you trust in Klopp, you believe in Klopp, but do you think there's one player you think Klopp should go for him to solve those midfield and striking issues?
Okay. I, I I have my own show, so in it, there was up that talks about us as to who Liverpool should sign. So one of them was Timo Werner. He's at Chelsea now, and the other one, another player is Kai Havertz. He's also going to Chelsea. I had called for one player all this time, Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho. Yep. I saw some of it in Dortmund, and one of the reasons why I think that Liverpool should really sign, two reasons actually. One, obviously, being his age. Like I said, if you're going to spend that money, why not spend 120 million pounds on a 21-year-old, knowing that you can build a team around him for 10 over years, right? It's good investment, long-term investment. It makes economic sense. The other thing is, there are a couple of times where I saw he's pretty beaten all the defender. He's only got a goalkeeper to beat. He could take the shot. No, he squares it. He squares it for his teammates to put it into an empty net. Not many 21-year-olds do that. In fact, not many 25, 28, or even 30-year-olds do that. So I think that's the type of player that I really like to see, because it's really it's a fresh change, from everybody, from all players who are just, once they beaten like 5-6 players, just a goalkeeper to beat, they definitely want to round him or put it in the net. But Sancho has on a couple of occasions squared for his teammates to tap into an open net. So yeah, so if you ask player to buy, Jadon Sancho, I still have a chance on that.
Okay. And by the way, yes, we forgot to mention Joey has his own show. Guys, do like and subscribe to it on YouTube. I'll put the detail in the description comments later on. So, Joey, another player I think Klopp is a big admirer is Adama Traore. Sancho's, I don't think, is going anywhere right now, but how do you see Adama Traore? Is he a good fit if available, or Ismail Assar as well for Liverpool?
Traore, well, I don't know. I'm trying to see beyond the speed and the muscles. I mean, that's pretty much all he's got, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something that I may miss out on. Of course, I'm sure he's a decent player. Wolves has had a decent season, and he's one of their key players. But if you ask me, there's too much muscles on him, and usually players with too much muscles, they don't tend to do well over a 38 game season.
Yeah, that's true. Ahmed, Ismail Assar then?
Yeah, I think he's a good player. I know he performed really well for the Watford. I think he was one of the players who ended the Liverpool invincible run. I think he played really well in that game. I think I think he's the star player for them, other than Abdullah Decore. I think Abdullah Decore and him, they are the star player for them, and they're the kind of a player the Liverpool Watford would kind of a wouldn't want to sell, but I think you know that Abdul Hadi Kore is going to Everton now. I think there's
I bet. Sorry to correct you. Adama Traore plays for Wolves.
no Abdul Hadi Kore. I was talking to him.
Yeah. Decore is a decent guy. He's a decent guy.
Yeah. But he's going to Everton right now. So I was talking. So I was talking about Far. I think Far is a good player, but I think Watford is asking too much for him. I think around 45 million. He's a decent winger, but he's kind of inexperienced. Yeah, a couple of good games, but I think if he needs one more season to prove himself that he's a good player. So yeah, I think coming to Adama as well. I think he's a guy. He's a speed merchant as well, and he's a really good muscle guy. But I think this season, Joey, he kind of proved that he has a good link-up play with Raul Jimenez, because I think he had around 10 assists. Also, I think he had a couple of good goals as well. Also, if you have seen the matches against Manchester City, like how he manipulated City defenders and kind of really just tore them apart. So yeah, I think Dama Traore is also a good player, but the problem is one more time is that his transfer fee is 135 million. Like that's the release clause for him. So I don't think so. Wolves gonna allow him to go, because I think after all, Jimenez he's their main talisman. I think they won't let him go quite easily.
Okay. Joey, to be very honest, are you a bit concerned Liverpool is struggling? Not harsh word, but so far anything from them. All the rivals, United, Everton, Chelsea signed so many. Guardiola is going to get that checkbook out now after FSG appearance. So are you a bit concerned that 30 years you got the title, you really want to retain it, you don't want to lose it again? I know Klopp is a miracle worker, but still, we're humans. We often tend to be a bit scared of things going around us. So how do you feel as a Liverpool fan at this time?
Okay. I'll be honest. I am not a fan of waving the checkbook. I'm not one of them. If you're gonna sign players, make sure it counts. Don't go around spending millions of 50 million pounds, 80 million pounds, 100 million pounds on a player that just don't work out. It doesn't make sense at all. So all this time, Liverpool don't. All right. I mean, just disregarding some of the poorer times under Houllier and Benitez, where it's a bit of a scattergun policy. But in general, Liverpool don't go around throwing money. If you're going to spend, make sure it's good. And Liverpool, under the current structure that we have at the club, it's fantastic. You spend 75 million pounds on Virgil van Dijk. Frankly, I was a bit skeptical about that. Who the heck spent 70 million pounds on the defender, right? But it turns out to be a good one. I'm glad to be proven wrong. Alisson, the goalkeeper, came for 60 million pounds, and it's Liverpool's most decent goalkeeper for some time. So it's all about buying the right players for the right price. So Liverpool went out to get Jimmy Cass. I hope I got the pronunciation right, as a backup left back, which is definitely needed. Other than that, nobody else. I'm fine. Let's just give the younger players a chance, which is what Liverpool has been known for throughout the whole Premier League era. A lot of good youngsters coming through. Well, I like to see that too. Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones. I like to see more of Curtis Jones. So Nico Williams, not so good, but hey, you never know, right? So no signing, no big major signings. That's all right. The other teams, they need to sign so many players because they're playing catch up. So I'm fine with that.
Okay, Ahmed, you're a fan of Klopp since his Dortmund days, since 2010-11. Do you still believe in Klopp? He can still retain it, or does need to flex somewhat of those pounds to retain it?
I think it's difficult. It's very difficult to retain Premier League, as only City can able to retain it. But I think he needs couple of
Yeah, Ahmed,
like. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
yeah,
Yeah,
continue.
yeah. Like I was saying that I think Klopp need couple of changes. Like I think if he can get a striker, like I think if he can't get a striker in summer, I think if the league table isn't supporting Klopp, I think in winter he should get a striker in a winter transfer so that he can change a bit of a team. I think also like I heard the transfer news that Klopp is trying to get Thiago as well, but I think Bayern and Liverpool are negotiating again. So yeah, I think he might get him around. I think in the 15 to 20 million. Also, I think Wijnaldum is going to Barcelona. So yeah, I think couple of changes is needed so for the Premier League to retain, because I think you can't utilize the same squad for 3 to 4 years without having some changes. So yeah, I think for most of major of the I think summer, I think except for Thiago, I think the team will be the same. But I think in winter transfer, I think if he's not in top two, or I think he's not in top two, then I think he might go in the transfer window and get the I think a striker or what kind of a player he needs.
Okay. It could be it. So talking about transfers, guys, we can talk. Joy, if you don't mind, we can talk a lot about Liverpool, but we have time limitations, so we'd like to move on, change the flavor a bit. I'm not sure, Joey, but you share a lot of Messi posts on Facebook, but a lot of things coming out. I saw yesterday on the media, especially Sky Sports, he's not coming to training. He's told Barcelona, I'm not playing, and Barcelona saying he'll still be there. And this could also mean bad for La Liga. I mean, La Liga got a lot of fans because of the Messi Ronaldo rivalry. One of them left. A lot of fans jumped ship, and this Juventus and Serie A supporters now. But if Messi leaves, La Liga will be without a very big superstar name. Eden Hazard hasn't quite cut it yet there like he did at Chelsea. So, what is going to happen? Is he coming to the Premier League? Is he coming to City? Where is he coming?
Okay. In the Messi Ronaldo debate, I'm Team Messi. All right. No two ways about that. I'm Team Messi. So nothing happens just suddenly. This situation is at this stage because Barcelona messed it up. That's simple as that. If you don't look at the managers, look at the way they've been signing players. It is absolutely ridiculous. You sell Neymar, you lose Neymar, and then what do you do with that money? You spend it on Dembele and Messi, and Coutinho, and since both of them almost like immediately after joining the club, the two of them are almost immediately being linked out of the club. Coutinho has left on loan to Bayern Munich. Congratulations for the Champions League medal to him. But Dembele is still at the club. He's like in and out of the squad. And that's still not, those two are not even the worst. Malcolm. Barcelona spent all the effort to steal Malcolm from under Roma's noses. 12 months later, he's off to Zenit St. Petersburg. If you're Lionel Messi, what the heck is going on? It's absolutely ridiculous. And I still haven't talked about Kevin Prince Boateng and Martin Braithwaite. So, so it's very frustrating when the way that sign players It's like, yeah, if we mess up, no problem. There's always Messi to clean things up. But it's absolutely ridiculous. So that's why he wants out. And quite frankly, I support his decision because I think that's the only way for the Barcelona board to finally wake up and get things right. Is it set for La Liga? Fine, it's set for La Liga, but it's not my problem. I'm not exactly Spanish, so I don't care if it's bad for La Liga or not. Him coming to the Premier League will it be good? Yes, absolutely, because he can finally lay to bed that stupid thing about him not being able to perform at Stoke on a wet Wednesday night anymore. He's gonna come to England and he's gonna tear everybody up to shreds, and then everybody will be like, okay, fine, you know what, he's good. So if he ends up at Man City, which I personally hope he does, because I think that's the only place that he should go, not to PSG. I mean, regardless of how PSG and Lyon has done in the Champions League, it is simply a league that's not that competitive. Bayern Munich still no. It's like one big team. Then there's Dortmund, and then pretty much the rest. Juventus, no. It's against Juventus. Inter is coming up, but yeah, and then there's a whole lot of them. So he going to Man City is absolutely the best one. And probably, he'll help Guardiola finally win the Champions League for Man City. But of course, it'll just mean that Guardiola has only won the Champions League with Messi in his team. So Messi to Man City, please happen. Even though I'm a Liverpool fan, I don't really want him at Liverpool though, because it's kind of like we're kind of like past that point in time where we will need a player like him. But having him in the Premier League, sure, why not?
Ouch, Ahmed. Guardiola can win it with Messi. That was a very accurate point. Very harsh, but very accurate. So, Ahmed, what news do you have from people you know around Barcelona?
Well, I think the reports are coming in that they're telling us that he didn't show up for the COVID mandatory testing, and also he didn't show up for the first training. So I think the club has fined him quite some euros, but he doesn't care. I think he had the last straw with the Barcelona board. I think the years of bad recruitment, also not winning Champions League for around 5 years, also. So yeah, all of those things I think came at a bad time, and he was just, I think the 8-2 demolition against Bayern Munich was, I think, the last straw for him. I think he was I think he's at end of his career. I think he has 3 to 4 years left in his playing time. So I think he wants to play somewhere which where he can perform in the highest level. I think for him right now, I think Man City is the best scenario for him, because as for Joey also and quite other football fans also know that under Pep Guardiola he won the sextuplete, 6 trophies, and I think Guardiola can use someone like Messi who has experience of winning Champions League, and I think Guardiola also wishing to win the Champions League with City, and also Messi is also craving to win the Champions League. So I think it's a good match for him. I think the main problem is that I think that one clause in his contract. I think that's a big problem. And he has I think, as most of the people know, but if you don't know, there's a clause in a Messi that he has a 700 million release clause, but there's also one more clause that he can exercise, he can go for free if he tells the board that I want to leave before the season ended. Unfortunately, due to COVID problem, pandemic, that season was stretched to August. So yeah, I think the Bayern Munich game was the final game for the season, and I think he sent a bureau fax after the Bayern Munich. So yeah, I think the legally, I think legal team of Messi is saying that yeah, the bureau fax was sent after the season ended, but I think the Barca board and also La Liga is also involved in it. The La Liga told him that no, the season ended the regular way, which is all in June, May, June, July. So yeah, I think the best now Barcelona board and also La Liga is saying that if someone has to buy Messi, they have to pay 700 million, which is really impossible. Even if like three clubs together can't generate that much money in this pandemic. So I think it's gonna be a tussle between Messi and Barcelona board for quite some weeks. I think they have to come either to let him go for free or either have to arrange some reasonable transfer fees with City or PSG. I think they're the only two clubs who can afford him right now. So either in 100 or 150 or 200, I think that money can be utilized by the Barca board and getting a right recruitment players. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think
they can sort it out. They can use that money and rebuild their squad. I mean, Messi is not going to stay there forever. There's an
yeah.
end to everything. Joey, what, don't you think the club should let Messi go, work something out? Because if the player doesn't want to play, why keep him? Because Barcelona is already suffering from dressing room as well as the board politics. So why not let Messi go? Why is the club clinging on to him so much? Is it because of marketing reasons as well?
There can be a lot of reasons, but yes, I do agree with your point that marketing definitely. How many people buy a Barcelona jersey with Messi on it? It's a lot of money per season. But again, what's the point of really keeping him? He's very frustrated. Let him go, for goodness sake. But I can only imagine the only reason is because Bartomeu, the president, who is the person who is screwing the club up, he don't want to be the guy, in history. Messi left because of Bartomeu. He doesn't want that there. So he's trying his best to keep him there, even if it means completely souring the relationship between Messi and the club. Like what I've read, I think it was on ESPN FC. Barcelona should and must let Messi go, so that at the end of the day, you know, the player will still love the club, and the club at least can say, well, we messed it up. We're sorry about it, so we are letting you go now for you to go and chase your dream. We think you have given us like was it like 20 years of his life? Was it 20 years?
Hmm.
17.
Yeah, it's almost 20 years.
17. Yeah, 17 years of his life. So the only right thing for Barcelona to do is really let him go.
Okay, okay. Ahmed would like to add anything. I think we do not have a lot of concrete things because his father is on his way to Spain, and there's going to be meeting between Messi's representatives and the Barca board on Thursday. So Ahmed would like to add anything before we move to the final topic before ending the show.
Nothing more to add. It's just that it's gonna take weeks because I think there's a legal battle between Messi lawyers and La Liga and Barcelona legal team because of that release clause. Because he did send them a bureau fax telling that I did send you a bureau fax telling that I want to leave the club after the season ended. So yeah, I think it would take quite some time for that legal battle to end. After that, I think that's gonna clear. Either Man City have to spend money on him, spend some transfer fees on him, or is Messi going to City for free? I think City are the favorite. I think City are the first favorite to get him. I think if City didn't by chance won't get him, I think PSG is the second favorite to get him because I think these are the two clubs who can afford the money as well. I think third one is kind of a redundant, but I also like to add it's Manchester United. But I think Manchester United aren't too interested in them. I think it's Manchester City around 80 to 90%, and 10% I think PSG.
Wow. Battle of the Arabs, Qataris versus the Emiratis. So final topic of the day. We've covered a lot of things in the transfer board. I mean, Everton is has almost got James Rodriguez and Kore as well as other names. Ahmed, you mentioned Manchester United, Donny van de Beek, who was linked to Real Madrid last season, but is closer to Manchester United. How do you see this transfer, Ahmed?
I think it's a very good transfer by I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but I think the problem I see with this transfer is that how does Pogba and Bruno Fernandes and Van der Beek plays, because Van der Beek is a kind of similar player to what Bruno Fernandes is offering them. He can play he can play as a number 10, and he also can play as a central midfielder. So I think Van der Beek has to be come as a CDM. He has to be. He kind of did defensive duty for Ajax as well. He's kind of a really versatile player. He can play box to box midfield as well. So I think yeah, he's kind of a really good player. But most probably, I think he will come off the bench to replace either Pogba or Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, I think it's a good transfer. But I think a defensive midfielder would have much preferred for the United other than, but still for 45 million they're getting a really good player.
Well, it's what Joey said that don't just buy for the sake of it, buy what you need. So, Joey, two other clubs I'd like to talk about. We've discussed, Everton and United, their rivals, but what about Chelsea and Spurs? Do you see Mourinho doing something? He's very quiet. There are a few transfers under everyone's nose at Spurs. Do you feel Lampard and Mourinho can, come in the top four this season?
Oh, tough one, eh? Based on how the clubs are strengthening, can Spurs still make it to the top four? I don't know. I think they're gonna miss out. I mean, I like the way Spurs played before Mourinho came along, of course. So now that he's around, I don't know whether they're going to still play with the more attacking way that they used to. With Son, Dele Alli, and Harry Kane. Now with Christian Eriksen gone as well. I don't know. His signings have so far looked more defensive. I think he signed Højbjerg from Saints. Then there was So defensive players, again, typical of Mourinho. That's what he's all about, right? Defense, then kind of a bit of a counter attack and a score. But I don't know, maybe he's putting a bit too much faith in Harry Kane, Dele Alli, and Son Heung-min. I don't know. So if he's going to do that, it's going to be tough for Spurs. Though unfortunately the neighbors, the London rivals, Chelsea. I thought Chelsea spent well. They bought well, but I think they might end up being top heavy because there's quite a lot of attackers they have right now. They have actually bought on top of who they already have at the team. So, but well, maybe they figure that scoring goals was a problem last season. So they've really bought quite a few attackers. Chelsea to challenge, well, probably. Maybe Frank Lampard, given all these players, if he can get them working together as one, and instead of arguing about who should play, then I'll be more worried about Chelsea. That's of course unless Man City really lands Messi and he gets things going, then I guess Man City will be the biggest threat to Liverpool. But if not, then I'll be more worried about Chelsea.
Chelsea. So Joey, is Wijnaldum leaving? Is he staying? What do you think?
He hasn't really, made any noise, and I think that is the good part. He hasn't really said, I would really, really love to play for Cuba. No, he has not said that. So, but will he go? I hope not. Unless he figures that the paycheck that Barcelona is going to wave in his face is too good to say no to. But I hope he stays. Wasn't that big a fan of him except for the last 2 seasons. So he has proven that he's a good player to partner Jordan Henderson in midfield. If he's going to go, I'll be a bit upset, because he's not those that complain. He's not asking for a lot of wages. He's not paid a lot of wages as well. So you're losing a good player for for that, I'll be a bit upset. So I hope he doesn't go. I hope he can say no to Barcelona and stick with Liverpool.
And as a Liverpool fan, are you worried? Do you see Do you see Manchester United and Everton as a threat because they're signing?
I think Koeman, when he was Everton manager, he went on a spending spree. Let's just say that didn't turn out so well. They are going on a spending spree again with a more experienced manager, albeit old. So is it going to be better? I don't know. Again, you're buying a lot of players, so you need to get everybody gelled up and ready to go almost immediately. So is it going to work out well for Everton? Skeptical. As for Manchester United, well, Bruno Fernandes, yeah, good signing. Congratulations to them. But people's got quite a few months to figure out, how to stop him. So will Van der Beek help change that? I don't know. I'm not a big Man U fan, frankly. If they can finish 17th, I'll be happy.
Well, there's a lot of things I'd like to say offline. I can't. Me and Ahmed can't say right now. Ahmed, Joe is asking how to stop Bruno Fernandes, and good question for the goalkeepers. He never misses a penalty, Ahmed.
Yeah, yeah,
Bruno
you know
Fernandes
that.
never
I
misses
think,
a penalty.
he never misses them. He's quite a I think he's a kind of a Portuguese who never misses penalties. I think he has a good teammates from Portuguese.
Good one, good. So, Ahmed, who do you see reaching the top four? I know it's very premature, but still, not a lot of movement yet, not a lot of noises, and I still hope things can return back to normal so the fans can come in. But we're almost about to end this show. So, Ahmed, do you agree with Joey? It's still between Liverpool and City, maybe Chelsea here and there because they've signed a lot of new players, and you have to form a chemistry to start firing from all cylinders. So, Emma, do you agree with Joey? It's a race between Liverpool and City.
It's kind of a very difficult question to answer because you haven't seen all the transfer happening. I think the main transfer is if City can get the Messi saga, and he can come in with a thing. I think most of the pundits and the football fan may consider Man City favorite again for the title. I think with also Chelsea really recruiting really well. I think Thiago Silva coming in, Malang Sarr also coming in. He's a kind of a good player. Also defensively, they're good. I think Ben Chilwell also. I think he kind of have an off season this season, but he also is a good player. So yeah, I think Frank Lampard, attacking wise and also defensively, he kind of improved. But I think one problem, where I think as a Chelsea fan, I think if I was worried, is it the goalkeeper situation with Kepa. I think if Frank Lampard can do something with the goalkeeper situation as well, I think Frank Lampard can challenge for title in not this year, I think next year. Also, I think
Okay.
Manchester United. I think they have a good team. I think they need some attacking and reinforcement. I think Jadon Sancho won't come this season. Maybe next year. So yeah, I think it's difficult because I think Leicester, who came in, who was also I think third before the COVID break. So I think they also recruited really well. I think Timothy Castagne, he came instead of Ben Chilwell. I think they also recruited well. If the James Madison if came back to the form he was playing before the COVID, and I think Jamie Vardy can fire all cylinders. So yeah, I think Leicester can be a good fit, but I think it's gonna be for me before the transfers saga ends. I think it's gonna be if Messi comes in City. It's I'm considering Messi in the City squad. I think then it's City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and I think it's gonna be either Arsenal or Manchester United. So I think I'm going to
Yeah.
give a bit of advantage to Arsenal because they recruited really well. I think the problem, I think the problem with Arsenal was they didn't have good centre back pairing. I think David Luiz and I think Socrates or Mustafi wasn't good enough, so they replaced it with William Saliba and I think Gabriel. So both of them are really good defensive players. So yeah, I think if Aubameyang can stay and Lacazette and Nicolas Pepe can perform on a good level, I can see Arsenal coming back to their fourth position. And yeah, I think the Spurs. I think Spurs. As Joey said, that I think they recruited defensively. I think with Hoiberg and Doherty on the right back. So yeah, defensively, but I think they kind of Mourinho haven't figured out what kind of a squad he needs right now. So I think for them, I think if they come top six also, so it's a good season for Mourinho, and also they have Europa League. So yeah, I think they have to
Okay.
go far away to play in a very difficult European countries. So I think it's gonna
Mm,
be difficult for Mourinho. So also Wolves,
it is.
Leicester, and Everton. As you know, Everton is getting James Rodriguez. So yeah, James Rodriguez and Allen. Allen is a really good player. If as a fan of Syria, he was a really good player under Mauricio Sarri, and he played under Mauricio Sarri for Napoli, and he was kind of a anchor he needed. He kind of a player he needed in Chelsea when he went there. So I
Mhm.
think Everton is getting really good player. The problem with Everton is that the attacking thread is not consistent. Where the Calvin Lewin is also a good player and Richarlison, but I think they can't provide that continuous goal they need. So I think at the end of the day, I think it's gonna be City. Sorry, Joey, Liverpool second. Because you know if Messi is coming, you know it's gonna be difficult for Liverpool to beat them. So if I think if the Messi doesn't come to City, then I think it can go either way. I can see Liverpool retaining as well if they're top before the Christmas time. So yeah, if they're not top, I think they're on second or third, and they didn't recruit any striker or anything. Then I think they might lose the title for them. So I think for
It's
now,
going to be it's going to be close. It's going to be close. It's not going to be as easy as it was last season. But then again, fair to Liverpool for the way they've played, they were absolutely superb. So Joey, we're very short on time. It's been almost an hour. So I'd just like to say thank you so much for taking our time from your very busy schedule and coming in. And hopefully, this is not the first and last time you're coming. We hope you can come again on our show to talk more about Liverpool as the season progresses.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, Moshe. I really appreciate you bringing me on the show. Ahmed, fantastic. I
yeah,
love your insights. You have. I love to. I think you know more about football than I do. So, fantastic.
no. No, thanks for your insight as well. We all are football fans, so we are entitled to our opinions. So it's not about
Mhm.
having less or more knowledge. It's about presenting the facts that you know about football.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Thank
All
you,
right.
guys, and
Thank you,
don't forget
Joey.
to
Have a good day.
like, and yeah, we'll also share Joey your page details on the comment section. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe Joey's page. He comes along with his friends, especially if you're a Liverpool fan, you love it. And don't forget to
Yeah,
like and follow and share the details of our videos and pages as well. So guys, thank you so much. Have a lovely day. There's still a lot of football left to talk about, but I think we exceeded time. So guys, have a great day and hopefully see you again. Okay, take care, bye.
thank, thank you.
All right, thank you,
Goodbye,
guys.
everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.